We don't know her name, but she was the Shunammite Woman. And in the story, there was a time where Elisha was the prophet at this time. And during this time, Elisha would often pass in the town called Shunammite. And the Shunammite woman would often see Elijah and would often encourage him to come by her house to have a meal. At this point, she didn't know who he was. To her, he was just a ordinary man, this passing through. But he encouraged him, come and have a meal with me, come and eat. And this is actually a common occurrence. Every so often when Elijah will pass through the land, he often pass by her house and have a meal and sit down with her. And during this continuum listen to her home, but she didn't know who this man really was. And it says it was verse 9, it says, and she said unto her husband, behold now, I perceive this is an holy man of God, which passed by us continually. Now this newfound revelation, she said, nah, I have to treat this man better. This man going about the works of God, traveling every single day. I have to do something a little extra for him. So she said in verse 10, let us make a little chamber, talking to her husband. I pray thee on the wall. Let us set for him there a bed, and a table, and a stool, and a candlestick. And it shall be when he cometh to us, that he shall turn in thither. And it fell on the day that he came thither, meaning Elisha came, and he turned into the chamber and laid in. Now this woman didn't know who he was at first, but yet she still showed her hospitality regardless of who he was. And then she went the extra mile now and built a whole separate room for him in her house. And now Elijah seeing how much she is doing for him, how far she is actually going to accommodate his seeing at her home. He said in verse 12, he said to Gehazi, this is Elijah's legacy disciple, call the Shunammite. And when he called her, she stood before him. And he said unto him, say now unto her, behold, thou hast been careful for us with all this care. What is to be done for thee? What hast thou bespoken for the king, or the captain of the host? And this is part that is often contrary to what many people often say. And she answered, I dwell among my little people. Meaning, she didn't want anything. Elisha the prophet, have a very strong connection to God. She could have asked for anything and might have been granted her financial assistance, health, but she asked and said, I am content. And for me, this testifies to the genuine hospitality she showed earlier. She did those things, she got a whole room not expecting anything in return. She did it just because. How many of us today would often do so? To just because? And he said, verse 14, what then is to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, verily, she had no child, and her husband is old. So even when she had a need for a child, verse 15, she still didn't even bother asking Elisha. She just kept it to herself. Elijah said, nah, I have to do something. Verse 16, and he said, about this seed, verse 14, no, verse 15, and he said, call her. And when he had called her, she stood in the door. And he said in verse 16, about the season, according to the time of life, thou shalt embrace his son. And she said, nay, my Lord, thou man of God, do not lie unto thy handmaiden. Meaning, don't give me false hope. Suggesting this was a previous longing and desire should have had, but due to probably just feel like she probably just gave up on desire. But God saw her need. Even if no one else saw her need, God did see her need. And so God provided her with a child. Verse 17, and the woman conceived and bare a son at a season that Elijah said unto her, according to the time of life. Now we may see this part of the story where had the happy ending and all as well, but not yet. And it came in the later years when the child grew a little bit older. He was one day out to the field with his son, helping him reap. And he said, my head in my head. And people speculate, it's my speculation said that it's could have been the harsh sun hitting on his head and that did some making him feel truly holy, especially a young child, could be very devastated. And indeed it was devastating. But the child called a lad, called a friend, called a servant, and said, bring him to his mother. And the child laid on his mother's lap until he died. Now, this we may think that this is part of the mother's heart weeping in anguish. I mean, who wouldn't? The child will die on the very lap, who wouldn't? But rather, she got up and called her to her husband and said, send me, I pray thee, one of the young men and one of the asses, that I may run to the man of God and come again. And he said, wherefore wilt thou go to him today? It is neither new moon nor Sabbath. And she said, it shall be well. So this can suggest your husband even know what's going on right now. He is unbeknownst. I'm going to say he doesn't want to know, she just didn't tell him. And for me, that just shows the power or the courage or the strength she had to control her emotions, to not give up. Even though she child had this die, she said, nah, I'm going to still try something. Let that man, Elisha, bless me with this child. Surely he can help me in this situation. So that was what she did. The husband granted her his servants, and they packed it, and they saddled on her ass, and they drove and found their way eventually to Elisha on Mount Carmel. And Elisha looked in the distance and saw the woman, the Shunammite woman, coming, and he said to his servant Gehazi, go and greet her. And Gehazi did greet her, and she said, is all well? All well, she had said, not knowing what's really going on. Now she maintained her composure until she eventually came to Elijah's feet. And when she came, verse 27, and when she came to the man of God, to the hill, she caught him by the feet. Like Gehazi came there to thrust away. He thinking, what going on here? And the man of God said, let her alone, for her soul is vexed within her. And the Lord had hid it from me, and had not told me. So she maintained her composure all the way through that journey, until she met at Elisha and threw and let her all her anguish. Verse 28, she said, did I not desire of my Lord? Sorry, did I not desire a son of my Lord? Did I not say, do not deceive me? So she is letting it all out right now. I mean, who wouldn't? God will give you a son, and then the son will die right in front of your arms. Elisha, see the seriousness of the situation. Gird up, said to Gehazi, gird up thy loins, and take my staff in thy hand, and go thy way. If thou meet any man, salute him not. And if any salute thee, answer him not again. And lay thy staff upon the face of the child. And the mother hearing this news, she did not go to Gehazi. She said, as the Lord liveth, as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. This reminds me of the story of Jacob. When Jacob was wrestling with God in the wilderness, he didn't leave God. He didn't leave God. He remained wrestling with God until he received a blessing. Same likewise for the Shunammite woman. She said, I'm going to leave you until something happens, until my son is better. Elijah seeing this now, he said, okay, I will. And Gehazi passed on before them and laid his staff upon the face of the child. There was neither voice nor hearing, meaning nothing happened, as at least we assume so. Wherefore he went again to meet him and told him, saying, the child is not awake. And when Elisha was come into the house, behold, the child was dead, and laid upon his bed. He went in therefore and shut the door upon them, and prayed unto the Lord. And he went up and lay upon the child, and put his mouth upon his mouth, and his eyes upon his eyes, and his hands upon his hands. And he stretched himself upon the child, and the flesh of the child waxed warm. Meaning, his life is coming back, but it isn't completely there as yet. So like Elisha continued to strive with God. Then he turned and walked in the house to and fro, and went up and stretched himself upon him. And the child sneezed 7 times, and the child's eyes were finally open, meaning there was no finally complete life in him.